everybody. Thank you, Francia, for your kind presentation. I'm going to show today the integration that Business Central and the activities we can do within Outlook, actually. Today is more or less 1 hour session, and as well, we're going to have, as usual, a series of reviews of the functionality. This as well works for Business Central or maybe, but most importantly will be working on the side of Outlook processes and the actual integration. I mean, technically speaking, we have some functionalities that work, new functionalities that work only for Business Central. So that's part of the review today. As well, after this hour, we can have some series of questions. Maybe we have some time to actually dedicate for any review that any of you would like to do, guys. So thank you once again. Thank you all for coming. And let's just now begin with the presentation. Today as well, I have a functionality that will be working as well with CRM. Sometimes this is a plus that I'm going to show. So let me just open as well the CRM part so you can identify some process that might be useful. One sec. Okay, now after the initial part where you get into, we have, by the way, a CRM in Business Central as well. And this is the screen you're looking at currently. This is a role center where you can have actually the sales pipeline where we basically check what we need to do, initial presentation to our customer, proposal, and then at last but not least, we sign a contract as a last step that we need to do or the people need to do in this company, right? So basically they contact specific people, right? They review and they have as well these contacts synchronized well with Business Central, and as well the idea of a CRM that has specific data for each person. As an example, I have myself here, and I have an email. From here as well, I can create then what we call as an opportunity. This is part of the CRM functionality, where we're gonna follow the sales process we just reviewed before, right? Now, after I have and I present this information, well, I create this, guess where, in Outlook. So it's synchronized with Business Central, right? So we're gonna check what's going on there. As well, I have from now on all my sales invoices, sales quotations are not like all the sales quotes that you can have. For instance, I have as well this same contact, Noel Wellman, that actually requested a sales quotation, right? So this quotation as well currently was not prepared here in Business Central, right? So just getting an idea of the process, what we are going to be doing is synchronizing some specific data. And we would like as well to use Business Central to do the following. Once we generate an invoice, we're going to check how or when you can actually send documents in Outlook automatically created from Business Central with the data, for instance, for a quotation like I have shown or a sales order. So taking information from Business Central has never been easier, and that will be then deployed to your customers through Outlook. And well, it has some other insights that we can actually just use. So this is the scenario, right? We are having a contact, we are having a contact list and all these people is working for different companies that I consider customers here in Business Central, and then I'm going to be able to attend any necessity or requirement they have. Basically, the first thing that we need to understand how can we do it, and this is more or less more than just functionality. We're going to be checking the process of what is going on, how do we connect it, because it is important to actually mention, because we do not require to do all of this anymore. A programmer or a complicated app-in to be installed or anything like that, right? So as you know, basically what we have always, we just set up an email. We consider this SMTP, where we have just information coming from your server, office accounts that as well we have created. So the idea is that through the SMTP mail setup, we're going to be able to actually send emails, right? Emails, and once we are able to work with the Business Central and Outlook, once this is integrated, the best part is that this is not a, let's say, an automation, or integration, but an actual just simple configuration that is coming out of the box. So we just need your 365 Office. As you can see here, I have a working email. So this is not exactly like Hotmail or anything like that, right? So this is a domain, right, that we provide with your subscription. Once you want to purchase Business Central, you're gonna get an official email for the company that as well has this specific right. So we're gonna set it up, and as well we have the assisted setups. Let me just present to you. So the assisted setup is gonna actually be part of the normal process for us now in order to connect different things that we have available. So let's check the assisted setup for a second. So for our company, we're gonna check that we have this tool. The assisted setup is actually then just a process where we can just immediately connect different capacities, functionalities as well, right? So for instance, the specific idea for today is that you can, we're gonna be generated two things. So you can see that I can set up my exchange rates. This is when you need, for instance, real-time exchange rates, right? Set up email. This is something that I have just actually just done here. And here we can customize our layouts, migrate business data, right? So we have some wizards that help us to complete some processes. And by the way, this is already automated. You don't have to start from scratch or doing any sort of integration. This is good news for us. So the first thing that we are going to do is set up an email, right? So for Outlook, the idea is that, well, we have completed this process. Just let me verify. The idea here is that you're gonna set up your email. This is coming from Business Central, and we can set up your email to use different providers. So don't worry if you use Gmail, Yahoo. These are already working within Business Central, and I just, of course, use Outlook, right? And here, I'm gonna just work with the same account with our work domain, that in this case this is the name of my domain, right? But you're gonna have yours within your company. So the idea is just to verify. We're gonna send an email, and we're gonna finish to set up the specific account, right? It's important as well for you to complete that synchronization. And then after we have just done this, the idea is that we're going to set up your outbooks, because your inbox, because in Business Central you're gonna actually work with your actual invoice inbox, and for the company, and we can just do for the organization add the specific add and deploy it. So you don't have to install, as long as you work here in the cloud, you don't have to do any sort of installation one by with a client with all the clients in your company one by one, install software on every machine, etc. So we are working here in an environment that is really fully integrated and live, and this is exactly what I have done. Just the last setup of the setups for the integration for Outlook just require this, and as long as you have this password for the same account that I have that I have been actually just using, this is already completed. As you can see, I have a check mark, right? So I'm going to be not only connecting the official account for the company so you can send emails, etc., but I'm as well going to be synchronized through all Outlook accounts that you have in your company. I'm going to be able to deploy through these assistants all the add-ins in all the people who actually needs this actual tool, right? After this, I'm just back to mention, it is important then now to understand that we have a specific level of integration, and I'm just going to show now the functionality. Now that you have your adding, now that you have your mailboxes, and now as well that you have your Outlook account connected, right? It's important to understand that after all of this, you're going to have as well to complete all your the entire system, all the emails that you require. For instance, for Mr. Noah Wellman, we're gonna use the email, right? From here, we can just actually start working with the address, so we can start sending documents to this person, right? So that's the full idea. Once we just generate this part, we are going to now check the add-ins manually, and we're going to use what we call the contact insights Outlook as well. So we are going to have two functionalities that I'm going to present as well after you have this, for you to know exactly what the function looks like. So what we have just done here is just create the subscription, synchronize myself Outlook or Business Central, then generate and deploy the add-in in Outlook. This is something that we do, and then at the end just generate the required addresses. I'm going to now open Business Central, then Outlook, and with this I'm going to be able to start the presentations to show all the functionality here. Okay, so we're gonna have the Outlook add-in that we have in Business Central. Look at this. I have received a specific email from the same contact that I'm showing, and here I have the quotation request. Once this is done, once this is completed, what I'm going to do is send this information or the request of this information. These people require 10 pieces of this attend desk, or 10 units. And after this, what I'm going to do is just review this information through the functionality, right? So we have in Business Central the adding here already added. So I'm just going to click on the functionality that says Contact Insights. So we have just synchronized the contacts in Outlook and the contacts in Business Central. And by clicking it, just let me open this. Very well. By clicking, what happened here is that I'm going to bring all the data. Mr. Noah Waldman works in Adatum Corporation as an example. So Business Central add-in is going to review all by checking the contact and the email. Let me just go back to Business Central to present this information. Contact. Okay, after I have all this information from the customer, I have the Adatum Corporation, and this company has currently 2 contacts. These contacts are actually important then to consider. This is coming from CRM. We generate a list of different people who will be working either as a company, who will be part of our customers, and all these people works in all different for all these different customers that we have. So we can then checking all the actual information from the customer at Atom Corporation that currently have some specific valuations that we generate. And as well, we have the customer card, not only as a contact. This company is a contact as well, and as well a customer in Business Central. So this person or this company, let me just open this part, customers. Currently, this customer has, of course, financial information, and we have a credit limit as an example. All of this will be reviewed through Outlook as well. And we can check the ongoing sales. And of course, well, for this, we are going to be able to generate price lists for different items. We're going to check the payments, and some specific reports. We have different statistics for this a specific customer, like the balance, the outstanding sales orders, and talking about payments, you can see here specific amounts, right? So all this information is very important for me to start setting. And if I just go to Outlook and have the integration and blah, 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 well, I wouldn't like to miss all this information, because at the end, well, this is something that I'm always reviewing when I create a sales order with Business Central. So the idea is that as well, I'm going to have all the same information here in the add-in, and I'm going to be able to check, okay, Mr. Norwell, since he's working in a Latin corporation, well, I'm going to see the data as well from these customers. The customer statistics are presented here. So the information that is required for me is just I'm going to be able to review, to create links or to create notes. The same add-in will be presented if I may be working or checking within this information within a meeting. As an example, well, haven't created yet a specific meeting, but you can see in any meeting and any email that you have the same add-in by clicking on this specific information coming from the email. And well, clicking on these three dots, we're going to be able to see the Business Central add-in to review the contact insights. These contact insights then, for me, as I have shown, well, is taking information from the actual customer and is taking information from the sales operations that I have, and as well checking the contact information for me to know where this person, or by checking only the email, where this person actually works. Immediately, the idea is that I have specific content on every email. And currently here, well, I would need a quotations for Athens desk. And from here, this specific item that is being requested, or could be a service or anything else, well, by clicking on this, the actual add-in is not only taking information, but it's going to help me to actually do complete the request that is here in this text. So let's take a look, because I'm going to click on new, and from here I can see that I can create a quotation, an invoice as an example, or a sales order, etc. I'm going to click on a sales order, a sales quotation, and after I have just done it, immediately, well, Business Central is going to check. Well, by checking the desk, it's going to try to suggest me the specific items that are maybe similar, correct, to the actual request. Or if I don't have specific items as well, remember that we have substitutes, so it's important to remember. So this is really good, because now if I have a list of different items, immediately Business Central adding is going to start checking all the text and copy pasting and suggesting me whether the specific selection in the test could be related to an item in your catalog, and you could check the item number and the description. So, well, sometimes as well, it's going to help us with the quantities. That's very important to mention. So in this case, I'm just going to accept one of the suggestions. That's fine. And I'm just going to click on OK. The idea is that, well, you're going to use this assistant to actually help you to complete these specific tasks. Just by including all the items that it sees, well, you're going to reduce your workload because you just need to accept the suggestion and immediately just going to be creating the document. Now, once I have this, the data incorporation, the information, and the requirements coming from the Outlook, well, immediately I could start working. I could complete the negotiation, maybe to check the price. Sometimes I do check the currency, the shipment date, etc. Correct? So this is important. All of this can be done in Outlook. And let's check if we can now complete the transaction from here. Once I have just generated this part, well, I would immediately, of course, send an email. I have just created the quotation, and I would immediately send this information within Outlook back to the customer just to verify and send in the same email, well, the actual information that they are requesting. So as an example, I have this text that is checking just with one click, well, checking the information in the actual quotation that is created, and look, it's going to check in Business Central some specific configurations, like, look at this. If we receive the payment before a specific date, you're going to get a 2% payment discount. That's super, right? So with this, I could immediately continue working and reply the actual email, and well, sending information with a template. This is important, so you can from now on tell us what you need, and you don't have to complete everything manually anymore. So this is going to help you like this. Another step that will be for me important, or needless to say, this is a draft version, so you can continue editing and doing all your requirements. As long as you have a Outlook online or your tablet or anything, well, not only the actual text is in draft mode, and as well, I could just download the actual PDF that you can see here is attached, and we are going to present from the actual review all the information now in the official document that as well it's just a sales quotation, right? Taking all the information from a Business Central then to be actually just immediately automated here. And very easy, as you can see, there's nothing else to do. I'm just gonna send it back to our customer. So once they created, and let's say I'm actually just going to be receiving this email in a moment, but the sales quotation is ready with all the information, correct? To me, there's nothing else to do but just review the information and review whenever this is required. Well, review the contact insights, review whenever this is required. Well, now in Business Central, for instance, I could go back. Let me just check the same information that was created. This is done in real time, of course. So you can be maybe still negotiating, and maybe you're still in your meeting with your customer, and well, you might be wondering where is the information, etc. So for me, once I have generated, I'm gonna have the same information, of course, directly from Business Central. The requirement then will be here just to review the document, etc. And okay, I could continue actually doing everything else in Business Central, because from here it would be good to just understand that all the information is still, so you could continue working on the documents, and continue working by checking on the ongoing sales quotes, as well as I'm checking here. I'm just gonna click, and here, for instance, I as well have the same two quotations that I have currently in Business Central in this section, correct? So with this, I'm just going to open the document, and well, I know that this is a sales quotation, right? So maybe I have received a confirmation from the customer that is telling me, okay, this is great. And once this is done, from here I could as well just actually make an order. So after my customer maybe calls me, or maybe through this email he he requests this information, but what I just wanted to present is that from the same history of this series of emails, you still can review any document that is in your history. And here's the quotation number 1007, correct? Which is that after I receive an email from this customer, I could immediately open and review this information, okay? And review the actual document that is referring to this specific quotation at any moment. So you are not gonna get lost. After this, the only thing that I would need to do is just to click and make order, all right? But what I'm doing here is after I'm getting an email that wants to get a quote on some items directly in Outlook, well, you could open Business Central adding, recognizes basically the sender as a customer, of course, and open the customer card for his company. From this dashboard, then you can see an overview information as well from the customer, like I have mentioned. And in the admin, what we are doing now is creating the sales order, send it back to the customer without leaving Outlook, and all the information that you need to send the sales quote is available in you for in your business inbox, correct? So that's the idea. And once you have a data entered, you can post the quote, you can send it by email. Business Central generates a PDF like I have shown. Similarly, if you get an email from a vendor, you can use the add-in to work with vendors and purchase invoices. So this works for purchasers as well. Sometimes you want to see more fields that you can see in the add-in, such as when you want to fill lines in an invoice to give you a bit more space to work with. You can pop out the add-in in a separate page as well, and it's still part of Outlook. So that wouldn't be a problem if you want to maximize your actual screen and see if you can open this in a new window. Okay, just to verify, whenever you need to maximize all the information that you're using, well, this is the same functionality. So this is great because from now on, it's not we are still working in Outlook, by the way, but in Open Business Central with the specific document that is being used currently in this historical series of emails, right? So when you're done entering data for the document, you can choose OK button, choosing the add-in frame, and Outlook automatically refreshes the document with the changes you have made in the pop-up window. Okay, so you can then, like I said, create your invoices, etc., and do a quick document lookup as well, like I have done. Whenever I receive an email, just immediately you're going to see all the documents that you have open. Like in this case, I just found this one. That now, once that this is just generated, I'm going to click on the last function, which is a make order. And if I click on make order, this is, I'm going to ask me, do you want to convert this quotation to an order? You are actually doing, because the quotation is just a draft version, right? It doesn't affect the actual requirement. It's not an official document that we're going to be using. But in this case, I'm just going to click on yes. And from the quotation, this is going to generate the actual sales order. By the way, in Outlook, we can see, hey, you don't have sufficient inventory. So at this point, even in Outlook, I could tell to my customer what we could do, or call the warehouse already purchase, and maybe creating a special order. We have different alternatives in this type of situations, but the idea is that we're going to be generating any detail. And look at this. Not only that, but the available inventory is -17. So we have a shortage for this specific item. Currently, we only have two to be scheduled, right? 2 items required that are currently exist here, but guess what? As well, we understand that, well, we might not have the actual chairs, but substitutes exist. Oof, this is really good for me at this point, because the idea is that, well, you should continue selling, and that sort of criteria, right? So, well, I have another item that for any other reason I could use, right? But at this point, just for the demo, it's not actually the process to complete inventory, but to show the functionality here. And here I have the customer credit limit that as well was exceeded. This would be shown normally in a sales order. Okay, so very well, the sales order is created. I like it. Let me just go and review now with the Business Central. Let me just open the sales orders. Sales orders. Very well. Now this is where is the one for Mr. Noy? Okay, Mr. Noy requested specific items here, and now he created a sales order that we can see as well in Business Central. Now, this is not part of only the work that I should be completing in Outlook, correct? But for me, it would be more important to actually review that. You can find a document whenever you need, right? So after I have synchronized and everything is done in real time, as well from Business Central, we will be sometimes completing some other criteria like adding a charge, like reviewing the amounts, the currency, right? And something that could be maybe changed here, like as well in Business Central, we just need to review where we're going to be shipping this a request, this item quotation request. And with this, this means that I could just continue working with the functionality. And well, before the origin of the information was in Outlook, correct? But as well, the idea is that, of course, we can send any document through Business Central to Outlook as well to be sent to our customers. So just showing part of the functionality, we have after the sales order is created, and of course, we can just post it here, or as well, just I forgot to mention the function. We can, of course, post it here in Business Central, ship invoice or ship invoice. But as well, if I immediately come and review the actual email or any email coming from this contact, I can review any document that is here open for the Adatum Corporation, where this guy works, and you can check as well the sales orders or ongoing sales orders. As an example, here I have the same list where you just can click and review the same information, right, for the same item. The idea is that as well, you can preview posting to check some accountings and use a function that we call predict payment. Okay, this is coming from Cortana as well, where we are going to be just clicking and reviewing whether it's sure it will. Well, I'm just going to need to enable the last prediction payment, and I have a specific functionality that is going to review the customer data. Let me see if I can. Okay. So once this is done, well, this is going to generate a threshold, so I could immediately just review. Let's see. Well, the problem here is that I want to set up a prediction level, but the threshold for 0.7 will be meaning that it's unlikely that all my customers are going to be paying on time 70% of the actual process, correct? So what I just would need to do currently is just enable the prediction with a specific threshold. So from now on, you could just work with this, and I'm just going to use no monetary subscription. Okay, that's fine. The idea is that this is going to help me to review the customers, and this is telling me the payment is predicted to be on time. Of course, because the threshold is, of course, at this moment is 0, but I know that this customer currently in my demo environment, I haven't prepared any payment, because the demo actually comes like that with this, so you can complete the payments in advance. But for the presentation, I wasn't aware of the actual depth from this customer that I'm actually just using. But then is that the payment prediction is going to say, okay, I just would like to have a threshold of maybe 30–40% for to have all the invoices to be paid on time as well, in order to continue maybe selling and having my prediction level to be a positive instead of the negative one. So, well, these people is going to be able to use that to see and maybe make recommendations to the customer, like please check the ongoing sales invoices that you can see the balances, etc. So that's another part of the functionality that we are going to be able to present. And well, like I have mentioned, not only that, you could send sometimes, well, whatever is required, send an approval workflow. It's more, it may be used more for approval for purchases, but as well, it would be important to review it here. We don't approve in Outlook, that's important to say. The functionality is here, but we either approve in Business Central or we can approve in with your Android telephone. Important to say. Needless to say that as well in Outlook, the Outlook add-in and the Outlook webpage can be opened in any mobile device because we are doing everything through internet. If you take a look at this, well, I'm opening just a web page. So that's the idea, correct? Within the once again, the add-in is just actually opening the documents, is helping me to review whether a customer can pay, and everything is done through Outlook. Okay. As well, we have, well, not yet configured, not so popular yet, but we have functionality that, just to remember as a plus, is called flows. Okay, flows as well, coming from the new functionality that we call Power Automate. That is already working with the Business Central to review automated processes, right? But guess what? The approval request, well, we normally work, for those of you who work within NAV or Business Central, the approval workflows, you know, that are currently available in the actual ERP. But what if I would like to not only connect my Business Central in order to make approvals as an example, but as well Outlook, of course, and as well I would like to connect my Teams application. Let me just explain very fast before continuing, because this can be done through Outlook as well. But we have Teams, that is an application, like if you remember Skype or any application. For those of you who haven't seen it, just let me show it for the first time. Actually, I'm doing my normal processes on a daily basis because I have chat and I have actual posts that, for instance, I have different invoices connected to Business Central from emails as well, that, well, through Teams, different posts, like let's think of a Facebook, right? So I have different posts. I have one for my company that is called the Optimus Team, and as well I have a calendar showing all my emails as well from Outlook, my meetings and everything, right? And I can make a split a call to any of my teammates within my company. Well, all these consultants are reachable, and I could share files and I could have chats, and well, this is what we call Teams, right? But guess what? What if from Business Central you receive posts within Teams, right? In your post area, or as well you get notified about any functionality in Business Central. Like, well, you have received while I'm chatting, right? I'm preparing any of my chats. Well, that I have currently open, we can share files and everything. And as you can see, I have some videos coming from Business Central, right? These actual files that I have here, well, the idea is that through Outlook you could send, create or create a flow, and well, coming from Outlook, we could share a file, right? We could share as well the approval workflow could be just created from here, right? This is exactly what is going on with this sales order. Okay, coming back, sorry for that, to the actual functionality. Once this is generated, let me just go back. Of course, I could just send back within the same email any information, but let me just go back and open Business Central. Because we just continue generate and we post all the information within the sales order. But now let me just open another feature. Once you finished any document, just sales invoices. Remember that everything we have just reviewed is available for the purchase part. It's just that I don't have time to show the same functionality while I'm purchasing. But I have a series of posted sales invoices, correct? So yes, we have just received, we are preparing the invoice. Maybe we could have prepared here in Business Central, or maybe it was created in Outlook. So we have been showing this part, sorry, and I have just working with the information, but for me it's more important. Okay, either if you created a Business Central or in Outlook, remember we have the contact information completely linked. Okay, never forget this part. As an example, let me just, for instance, open another type of feature that could be connected to Business Central. Here I have the Dynamics 365, okay? CRM, customer engagement in other words. This is the new technology that is as well working with the integration for Outlook, okay? So maybe this is not exactly Business Central. Sorry for maybe presenting this if we are only working in every webinar, but as a plus, like I mentioned, well, we work with this new product. It's not new for us actually exactly, but within customer engagement, we have more features that help us to complete sales operation, like the CRM. As well, we have as another example, field services. For those of you who want to use your you have a specific service team that will be going on the field, and you can use your Android telephone to maybe take advantages of the functionality with your camera, with your security, with your image that you can attach, or with your videos or whatever, and attach to your service order. And as well with within this functionality, we're going to have the same contact. Let me just review a little bit. Here we have, as an example, the home for CRM. This is the Sales Hub. This is CRM currently working in an environment where I would, it's updating, sorry for that. It's because I have more than two environments here, so information do not updates immediately when I have all these environments open. But in the contact list that I have in CRM, I have actually created the contact information. So the salesperson actually visited at one point the Adatum Corporation to get the information from Mr. Noel Wellman. And I have the email, the business phone, etc. Not only that, but I have some other details like the gender, the marital status. All of this is actual CRM, not Business Central, right? And let me just show you an example. For instance, I have the latitude and the longitude to be able to locate this person whenever this person wants to share information with me, right? And only that is part of the CRM functions, the Geo Localization, not only of people, but as well of equipment, a truck, if you are in the sales department, a resource to know if you have an employee who is checking on customer sites some specific work or workloads, or he's selling, where is my salespeople, where is, okay. So this information, the idea is as well integrated with the Business Central and is traveling up to Outlook, okay. So all of this is completely integrated, okay. coming back to this contact that I have created actually in CRM first, like I have just shown, Mr. Noe Wellman now is going to be able to send after he was chatting in Outlook, having a meeting or receiving an email where he just sent all the documentation. And now what I'm going to present just is that after the sales invoice is actually created for this for this actual customer, you could come into the actual in any document in Business Central, you could just click and send any document right from Business Central, and you're going to get then an automation that is going to help you to, or an assistant that is going to help you to generate an email for any document that you want to send. As an example, this invoice, well, that currently has a specific email with specific content. So hello, Adaptive Corporation. Thank you for the business, etc., etc. You can tell me what you need here, and I'm gonna set it up for you. All right, and as well, of course, we're gonna have an attachment for the actual official document of your company. Okay, so the invoice chronos with the specific salesperson for the specific due date, right, etc., etc. But guess what? According to the payment method that we have, if you can see here, we have an integration as well with PayPal that you could use from now on. You don't have and you don't need to wait your customers to actually wait for all of this, okay, to then later continue and pay until they visit you on cash or with a specific credit card. You don't have to wait for the customer to go to the bank or anything like that. Of course, it's available, and most widely used the bank is of course the best payment methodology. But now remember that we are in the millennial era, and we actually use the wallets. Okay, electronic wallets will be then available payment method, an official payment method maybe that could be available for your company as well, where well, for PayPal, needless to say, for those of you who use it, or if not, well, just to be able to present what we have integrated as well with Outlook and with the functionality Business Central. Well, PayPal is an electronic wallet where that could be it's a wallet where you could actually save or make transfers through internet. And the idea is that it's safer than actually inputting or sending transfer with as you know, you can purchase anything in internet, okay? In every website, you could be sure that you can insert or use your credit card information to actually make a purchase. The same is going to happen here, but we don't accept like that just a credit card within this functionality. For that, we would need to open a specific e-commerce functionality that as well we have here in Optimus. But from the Outlook functionality, we would be not yet opening that, but we will be opening PayPal. And well, PayPal is as well connected to your credit card, but in a safely manner. So if you have this for your company, or if you want to try it, we have actually an integration. Let me just click on my demo environment. I don't know if it's still available because I haven't access to my PayPal account. I remember any wallet that you don't use will be canceled after a while. So let me just verify that it's still open for demo. But well, the idea is that for PayPal, I could generate a virtual payment so you can reduce and pay this invoice. Just let me verify if I can access for you to see that. To finalize the presentation for today, needless to say that if you see my credentials working here in all the accounts, Business Central, Outlook, and CRM, I'm just using, sorry, I don't have any more this account open. I haven't actually accessed in a while, so PayPal actually closed if you don't use them. Sorry for that, but well, you could. The idea is that you can make transfers. That's it. Okay, you can pay a credit cards or transfer from PayPal to PayPal. So if you encourage the use of this, you can just generate for suggest to your customers. If you open a PayPal account, you can just receive transfer, and we would be avoiding all the banking procedures. Very well, but the idea for now is coming back to the Outlook functionality. You have seen how I have created my contact integration, or I have the contacts information sync in the entire environment from CRM to Business Central to Outlook. Then we open, and when we receive an email or when we have a meeting, we have access to all Business Central, financial, customer, and specific inventory information only for availability. From there, we can either prepare information to create any sales or purchase order. Remember what I have just shown when I created a quotation and then I created an order. This as well work for the purchase side, right? Then, as long as you have the email updated for your contacts, everything will be synchronized, right? Of course, I always have a question, okay? Now, what is most important, my contacts in Outlook or my contacts in Business Central? Because if I change sometimes the last name, that happens often, right? Specifically for salespeople that wants to correct information, well, either if you corrected the contact information in Business Central, it's going to be synchronized to Outlook as well. So be careful with the data. Try to make it functional. Well, that will be the word. You don't necessarily need all the information like the fax, the 2 or 3 telephones, but well, at least just the contact email will be completely useful for us, at least for the integration part, right? So the synchronization actually is not only on one side, it's both sides. So if you update Outlook as well, Business Central information will be, of course, updated. Okay, so pay attention to the functionality, and everything will be working fine for you. So once this is just generated and I have just sent the actual email, let me just go back to the explanation. The idea is that you could just complete your integration by actually reviewing. This is very important just to mention. If you don't know yet CRM or anything, you can send me I can make further reviews of further functionality. This is just for Outlook, right? But yes, I have many requests, and I can prepare a demo actual for sales operations or to present CRM Dynamics 365. Not to mention that very important to work now with within Business Central. You have let me just show you a smaller version of CRM that is just as well you could use to actually create opportunities. Let me just in order to understand what I have done today. Well, an opportunity is an opportunities are different steps that you prepare in every sales operation. So we have currently the initial step where we contact somebody, then we do a presentation for the customer to present or negotiate our initial negotiation to have our products, right? The idea is just to show these product services, and then we generate a proposal. Then, at last but not least, we have the signature. Okay, so this is what we call in CRM an opportunity. For those of you who do not know it, the salespeople are going to follow all this process that is already standardized, so they don't forget about the actual within dozens of emails. They forget, where is this customer, where is this contact, where, oh, I forgot the company, I lost anything. Have I already made a presentation for this customer or no? So the sales operation tends to be quite complex while it becomes larger, right? So that's why we use CRM. okay? Anytime that you need, I can present it. So I have the evaluation here of the top 5 or the most profitable opportunities that I have foreseen for my company. And this is why the Outlook integration comes in handy to integrate and well, not only the sales orders or the sales invoices that I have just shown, but as well that information is shared either through the actual CRM smaller version or the Dynamics 365 complete and full CRM or now customer engagement functionality, correct? So all of this completely synced through the actual Office 365 account that I mentioned. So you don't have to create one account for Business Central, one account for Outlook, and last but not least, one account for CRM. Everything is just one single environment for you, one single tool that you're going to be using to create any process, business process. So if I just, for instance, click here on Outlook, even your PayPal account will be using the same credentials that you can use. And we are in charge here as consultants when we implement Office security. Very well. So just to finalize, if I, for instance, open in any of my apps in the menu that I have here in my, actually coming from the Business Central, you can see that I have Business Central, and look at all the functionality that is here connected to my environment. So here is my email with the actual information. Okay, so everything is synchronized, okay, with the simple steps that I mentioned in the beginning, right? Everything is out of the box. We never required a programmer to use all these different functions. So just to recall, we have an inbox, we have a Business Central add-in. We can send information from Business Central, from CRM to Outlook as well. And we have a payment predictor in the case of the actual customers that we have, just to see if they're going to be paying, and suggestion coming from Cortana. So that's it. Thank you very much for your time. And if you have any doubt, please let me know. I believe that this is quite easy to get. It's not so complicated at all, right? So this is what we do normally when we are actually working with the Outlook, and this is how we actually integrate everything, just as generally speaking, right? So pay attention to that. If you need it, well, we can do as consultants the actual integration for your company. It requires, of course, more steps than from what we have just shown, because actually the technical part is, needless to say, not important, but the functionality is more important for us to be able to see what Microsoft products are actually offering. So, well, thank you very much for your time, and have a great day. See you next Thursday as usual, and hopefully you have a great day and weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.